This is The Shift. Each week, we sit down with remarkable people to explore their stories and the moments that define them. I'm Luke Nesler, and today's guest is Nat Frederick, an incredible musician and longtime friend. Mr. Nat Frederick.
How's it going?
Thanks for coming, man. Welcome to the van.
Nice van, man.
Bro, I appreciate it. Thanks, man. You know, you're doing well in life when you got a van.
Yeah, right. I just want to thank you for having me, man.
Bro, I appreciate it, man. It's I was telling my wife how excited I was to have you come on. For those that don't know you, Nat Frederick, which I'm going to let you talk a little bit about who you are and what you do, but man, we go way back.
Oh, yeah.
We go way back. Middle school buddies. I moved to Bridgeport. You were one of the first guys that kind of took me in, and man, we did some stuff, some fun stuff from, like you said, we played football to musical theater to talent shows, and
all kind of great stuff.
I watched you kind of blossom into what you do now professionally. So it is an honor to have you on, man.
It's an honor to be here, buddy.
All right. So for those that don't know you, which with my audience, a lot of folks won't know who you are. So that's why another reason I was excited to have you come on is meet some new, expand into a new audience. Tell everybody about who you are, what do you do, and we'll go from there.
So I'm just going to keep it real simple and basic. My name's Nat Frederick. I write songs and I fish a lot. And do both of those as a profession.
You are a prime example of turning your passion into your career, dude.
Right. God-given talents, share them with people.
Yep. You were self-taught. I remember when you were like working out, like just we'd go to your parents' house and like there'd be a song that we both were into, Drops of Jupiter.
Yeah.
You know, and you'd
it.
figure out how it blew my mind. As somebody that was like last chair trumpet in middle school, I couldn't read music, nothing. And man, you figured it out. This show for you, and then for anybody that's the first time tuning in, it's called The Shift. And the reason it's called The Shift is it is about people that have done great things, people that have gone against the grain, been the exact opposite of average. We've all been met with our own version of adversity and turning hardships into launching points, turning, things that would deter people from pushing forward and using that as a catalyst to change our life. I have my own story. We struggled with infertility for 3 years. That made me grow up very quickly. I was already in a business that I thought was successful, but what that hardship did was made me realize I couldn't be the man that I wanted to be for myself, for my wife, for my future kid, being in that business. Most people probably would have just stayed and been miserable because I was making a lot of money and just would have stayed and complained about it because that's what most people would do.
Right.
That hardship was my shifting point. What I've learned through doing this show is that was my main shifting point. But there's been a lot of others. And the people that we've had come on have multiple stories of little things throughout their journey that have been hard, that have been the compass and the put them to where they're at today. A little bit at a time, but it always comes from overcoming something hard. With what you've done, it is nearly impossible to turn the two things that you have turned into a career. Those are things that people do to escape their career because they love it, but they've never found a way to actually turn it into the thing that supports them. The music thing has always blown my mind. Most people will chase it for a while and then they'll give up. You have turned it into, I'm 30, I'm going to be 37 this month.
Yeah, it's 20 years.
Yeah, you've turned it into a 20-year career.
19 years, just to be completely honest.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Take us back to the beginning. How did you discover music? And I don't know where to work fishing in, the fishing guide, but you'll kind of help me. I know the music side of Nat, so let's take it back to the beginning. How did that start? And then we'll go from there.
Well, I was infatuated. We had a room in our house growing up, and we had a banjo, a guitar.
Yeah.
We had a grand piano in there, and
we spent some time on that grand piano.
Yeah, right. But just gravitated towards that. It was just something that I felt like I always wanted to learn. I got a guitar when I was about 12 years old, and it came with some lessons from Dave Zen, up at the mall, and I was just excited and took a few lessons, and just enough to teach me kind of what had happened, teach me my way around the neck of the guitar, for instance. And I just loved music. I was a huge consumer of music. I loved the emotion that you got from it. It tapped into a certain part of me that nothing else would, and I would hear something and it would just light my brain up, so I just wanted to learn as much as I could. And, there for a solid 20 some years, I just couldn't get enough of it, so just turning it into, like you say, passion, that became an obsession, really.
So when you left high school, I can't remember, did you go to college? Did you do the traditional route?
I served a 5-year sentence at West Virginia University.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yes. We were just talking about my 21st birthday, music, all that stuff. I'm sorry. Yes.
I got a degree in agriculture and a minor in equine science and a doctorate in honky tonk.
Okay. Here you go.
I was there.
So music, you discovered music in, middle school, high school. When you got into college, obviously being a full-time student, did you know at that point, like, hey, I'm going to get these degrees, but there's going to be a piece of me that chases this music thing? When did that become the path?
Well, I think definitely the second year of college. Yeah. The first year of college, I just wanted to just sit there and learn more about music than I did want to learn about the field that I was studying at that time. But the second year of college, we started playing all the bars on High Street, started playing like 4 nights a week, you know, and kind of was like, hey, this is a viable option for me to choose versus going to get some minimum wage job. Of course, it was a little bit rough because we were playing till 2 a.m., had 8 a.m. class, and the things that go with that, staying up late, kind of makes you less efficient.
Yeah. Hey, this isn't a G-rated show. You're partying, and it's West Virginia. For those that don't know, it's West Virginia University.
It was number one party school while we were there, and I think they went to number 2 after we left. So, that says a lot.
No kidding. So, all right. So, what was the transition like from you've got a degree? Was it you started using the degree, or did you say, you know what, I'm going to put this on hold and chase this music thing?
I didn't use it. I've used it at some points in life. Yeah. And I'm very thankful that I learned it, but I've never used it to its potential. I just kept showing up. Would get booked one place, I kept showing up, and it just took me all over. I kind of just let it dictate where I was going to go. Yeah. So, at the end of college in the 5th year, had a band with like Owen Schmidt, so he was playing for the Philadelphia Eagles at that time. We started going here, there, traveling all around, definitely in that Philly, New Jersey area. And, then I just branched out on my own, and I always wrote songs. So you talk about hardship, and there's a direct correlation between hardship and great songs. Not too many super happy songwriters, so things that I felt and internalized, I felt like that was a way for me to get rid of some of that weight, get it down on paper, add a melody to it. Yeah. And then I started noticing that people were relating, and going to venues and playing cover music for a few hours turned into, hey, play an original song. And then it was, just started growing. So it's been a ton of just micro growths over the career. And I could see where others we live in this fast-paced life, right? So that might not be enough gratification to keep you there that fast. But if you just take everything and add all these small victories up, it turns into a beautiful mountain. Yeah.
So the interesting thing with you compared to most guests that we have on is this is probably the first time that any of them have been asked to talk about their hardships Whereas what you just told me is your entire, your whole craft is based and rooted in being able to communicate hard things that you've gone through in a beautiful fashion through
Right.
song form. Yeah, that's crazy. I've never really thought about that. And it's so obvious, but that's all great songs come from something like that. So what was that? I mean, did you talk about your struggles with trying to make it as a musician, or was it more, personal, family related, relationship related things, or?
It was, I never really talked about the struggles of an artist, but I think it was more or less, dysfunction,
Yeah.
and surviving through dysfunction that got me, it allowed me to free myself from the trap of that.
Yeah.
So I think that was I would say some family things that gave me some feelings that I was able to just kind of communicate that through.
Your career path with being a musician, I think when anybody's young and they're like, I want to be a professional athlete, they envision playing in the NFL. Professional musicians, I would assume probably all at one point pictured as, selling out stadiums and like, the 1% of the 1%. But what I think a lot of people don't realize is a lot of the people that you see and love playing these smaller live music venues, a lot of them have turned it into a very successful career. And it has to be a fucking grind, just like any business is. It's not, the pinnacle doesn't always look like what people think. What was that journey like for you? Because I think more in your space than most, when people realize, okay, I'm not going to probably be one of those people that becomes the next Luke Bryan or, whoever, like, I'm not going to sell out stadium. They give up on the dream when there's so much still there of their gift to be able to give. And you never did, dude. Like, you grind, like, you were in Nashville, you've been all over the country making this career into what you've turned it into today, which is what I love about what you've done. So talk about that, if you would. What was that like?
You have no choice. You just keep showing up. Like, if you had a 9-to-5 job, you'd show up every day at 9, you'd leave at 5. And it's just like, there was a big transition, I feel like, from, I used to say, well, I've got to play tonight. Then one day it just hit me. It's like, well, I got to work tonight. And then it just became a job. It just treated it like a job, everything like that, and I feel like some people, it's a novelty for them to go out and play once in a while. But really, when your electric bill depends on it and all the other bills, it becomes a job, and it is just like any other job.
Do you love it?
I do.
Yeah. It's still something that's the Nat in high school playing on the grand piano,
or even the child Nat. Yeah. He's very happy. He's very happy. And I know that might sound crazy, but just the inner child, he's really happy when he's doing that. Yeah. And it brings back a younger version of myself where music just was such a profound part of my life.
Why didn't you stop and fall back on the degree? Because even though, not knocking a degree is very hard to get. I mean, shit, I should know. It took you and I both, it took us a while. So for somebody that graduated and they're using their degree, like, that's incredible. It's so much harder to go and build something that didn't require that degree. And you don't have a boss. And that sounds wonderful until somebody lives that and then realize, like you said, like, the bills depend on it. And if I don't get the next gig, it deters a lot of people. Why did you continue to take the hard route and chase music instead of just saying, all right, I'm just going to go use my degree and have a regular 9-to-5?
I think one thing that deterred me from that was I'm an analog man, in a digital world. And I looked for an outlet where I didn't have to be on a computer all day. or I didn't have to be on a device all day, you know, and it was freedom just to have a pen and a paper and a guitar and writing, and then working on a set list for, you know, tailoring it for a different crowd, being in a different location of where we're from, and people like have a different music taste and being able to adapt to that. Yeah. And it was just super exciting to me. And I loved just kind of the freedom that came with it. You know, in the beginning of the career, there was a lot of freedom. Our buddies were just, you know, well, I'm working all week and then I got the weekend. Well, you know, I had, you know, the majority of the week, and everybody's schedule, it was the exact opposite. Yeah. So like I had free time to go places and enjoy things where there weren't as many people. You know, there wasn't any competition to go on a hike that day because people were working, you know, and I liked my weekends in the middle of the week. But when the weekend came, I was working, you know, I was traveling. You know, a lot of people don't take into consideration the travel, you know, that's hundreds and hundreds of hours, you know, absolutely. A month, just to prepare for the 2-hour show.
What does that look like for you? So I know you just came from Florida. So like, what is I don't know, a year, like what's a week look like for you as far as where you're at, what you're doing?
Well, you know, it all depends. I mean, like summertime, we'll use it for example. Wintertime, as you know, made it to warmer weather where people are out and about and active. Have done ski resorts, you know, so I've been in all kind of different climates. But it just looks like basically just booking, traveling, booking, traveling, booking, traveling, you know, and really being efficient with a system. You know, it's like an own operating system and just having what you need, you know, and it's funny to see like the advancements of some of these systems. Yeah. Like when we say, for instance, we played on High Street back in the day when we were in college, we had to bring a trailer, you know, now you can take a personal Bose system and you can fly with it. You can do whatever you want. So it's made it a lot easier for the songwriter, for the musician to show up, and then scaling down and also just having like, you know, just me. It's just me. It's me and a guitar. It's real feelings. It's not, you know, I'm not going out there to cater to a wild crowd, or I'm more of a listening, you know, I want to connect with you on a level that isn't just strictly partying, you know, and a lot of loud bands, they have made a great living just doing that, you know, being the life of the party. But I want to give you something to think about.
Was that always the plan, or did you, when you first were like, hey, I've got a talent, I want to get people hyped up and have the or was it?
Yeah,
because you've always been a very like mellow, calm, like soothing person to be around. Like your demeanor is just very safe. Like you don't stress people out. You're very calm. Like you'd be a wonderful therapist. I just want to sit here and tell you my problems. So you've never had that personality to where you're like, I'm gonna like rage and like. Yeah. Has it always been?
Most of the time, I would say. And there have been several instances where I've made exceptions and, you know, definitely stepped it up a bit to get people fired up.
I've seen your presence on the stage. Like is there that piece of it too? Like you are calm, but at the same time, like you're a performer. So when you get up on there, like is there that component of it too, to where like you have a stage version of Nat?
I mean, the biggest part of my job is reading the room. Yeah. You know, so they're going to dictate what I'm doing. You know, I'm not going to really do too much. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to look after I play the first song, and I'm going to say, well, 70% of shoulders were moving. Yeah. 80% of toes were tapping. I'm going to keep on that route, you know? Yeah. So, I love it, man. I mean, and that's just a gift from, you know, it's a God-given gift.
For sure. You've always been like that.
Yeah, I can't be somebody that I'm not. Right. And I think living out of alignment is the times where you get these heavy, heavy feelings, you know?
Have you ever been there and realized I'm not in the right place?
Yeah, I've been there a few times.
What was that like? Give me an example if you can.
You know, just like I would say after college, I got this little job. It wasn't even a degree oriented job, just this little sales job. And I feel like that it was wonderful people that I worked with, and it was nothing against them, but it was just like, there's something more, there's something more, and then I noticed it just took a toll, kind of like mentally, physically.
Yeah.
And then I had this longing for something more. And I feel like I've had that, like, in many, many instances. So it's not just a one-time thing, but, I definitely notice when I'm doing something that isn't totally aligned with me, And like the older I've gotten, and you've got you've got a baby, and my friends have children, and I just want to make a wholesome environment for everybody that I care about, and then they can share that art with their children. And I feel like sometimes that mainstream radio and things like that, they have some suggestive lyrics on there and stuff, and I'm just trying to make a beautiful thing to represent for the family man.
Yeah. I love it.
So
when did the fishing guide component of your career come in? Because again, like, you've turned your two greatest passions into what you do professionally. So how and when did you start working that in?
So I think this would be my 14th, 15th season. Wow. So it was I fished my whole life. I mean, it was something that I was obsessed with that just as much as I was music, if not more. Put it that way. But you couldn't do that when the sun was down. So music filled that void, and we didn't live around the mountains when we grew up, but once I got a car at 16, I was just making trips, trying to get there. And I think that the big defining point in life was I got into an argument with my dad, and I told him my plan. And he said, well, you'll never make a living fishing and singing. And, just like every son and every great man has done, I said, watch me. And that was it.
That was the defining moment.
That was it.
Yeah.
I can remember it clear as can be.
What's the hardest thing that you've had to overcome, fishing or music wise, to ensure that you held true to your word and you're like, I am going to turn this into a career?
Yeah, it's just been doubt.
Yeah.
It's been doubt from myself, And I think that there were times, especially in the middle of the career, you grow weary, and I'm sure it's like that in every arena.
Sure.
It's not just like that. Unless you have something that's so steady and solid, and that's a very few percent of people, in my opinion, in this life. But, overcoming doubt, overcoming people telling me that maybe their limiting beliefs rubbed off on my beliefs. And then I had to do some really hard work to say, well, just because you think I can't do it doesn't mean I think I can't do it.
Yeah. I think the interesting thing is your dad might have said it, but you and I both know the majority of everybody that we knew in high school probably would have agreed with him because it's so uncommon.
Right.
So I think the cool thing is he might have vocalized it, but you didn't prove him wrong. You literally, you proved probably everybody you knew. I mean, there's your core group that obviously we're like, we believed in each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Stacy and Ryan, Bobby, all of them, I'm sure they all believed in you as well. But the majority of people, like, dude, it's such an uncommon thing to, more so what you have turned into a career than what we've built with real estate. People be like, there's no way somebody can do what Nat did. Because it's so uncommon, like turning a hobby, something that people love doing, into something that you can do as a career. And like, I forget how long we've been out of high school. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that saw you, a couple years out of high school, oh, he's still playing music. And then 10 years later, oh, he's still playing music. We're close to 40 years old. You're not still playing music and still fit. Like that's what that's what you do. Were there times to where you didn't think it was going to work out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were times.
Give me an example of one that was probably the closest that you were like, it might be time to hang this up and just make it something I do when I feel like picking the guitar up or the pole.
Well, I think that being in a weather dependent, as far as fishing goes, it's a natural resource based industry, and we have droughts, man. We can't control that.
Mm-hmm.
But after going through a season of drought, that was kind of like, well, something a little more with some insurance,
Mm-hmm.
per se. That's been the only time that I thought that the fishing wouldn't be a viable option. Music can't, after 2018, I released my first album, right? So I'm a normal dude in May, just an average Joe. I make my living 3 nights a week, different venues, taking my craft there, playing, coming home. So just the people that we knew me.
Mm-hmm.
Release that, get to number 7 on the iTunes country charts.
That's awesome.
And,
Yeah.
top 100 in all genres. And the influx of communication overwhelmed me. And that was a time where I'm like, is this something that I really want?
So the attention wasn't something that filled your cup up. It actually kind of
It scared me.
really.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I thought I was just a normal average Joe, right? And then people would call and call and call, and I just wasn't ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ready I had no idea. I had no guidance. And I'm sure with a lot of great entrepreneurs and everything, they were self-taught too, But that was really part in the learning curve where it kind of turned me off from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, well, I can focus more on writing, and I can still get, these feelings to go to someone else. They could sing that, But I realized that soul is everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when I sing my own lyrics, I'm adding my own soul into that. So, I just think that I was not ready.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to happen, and I don't think anybody really did.
Yeah.
I just remember, like checking Facebook and being like, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe how many people actually want to know something about me.
So the attention, that's interesting. I mean, to me, that shows how genuine you cared about the craft more than the attention.
Oh yeah, I don't want to be famous.
Yeah.
I want to be, just authentic.
Yeah.
And if that leads people to have something where they want to listen, or, that's the win. That's the victory in the whole thing. It's like being yourself and being able to, when art is marketable,
right?
That's the beautiful line in all of it.
Yeah.
Anytime that artistry and marketability walk that fine line, that's the beauty of the whole thing.
What are you most proud about what you have written, built, achieved? Because again, it's what you've done. I literally don't know anyone else that has done what you've done in that space the way you've done it. So I've always had a ton of respect for it. What's the thing you're most proud of?
I'm most proud of probably showcasing West Virginia, and writing beautiful lyrics about the place that I love. I'm really proud of where we came from.
Yeah.
I'm proud of West Virginia, and a lot of my writing is geared towards that. And I would say I'm proud of that, and I'm also proud of just identifying as a authentic writer. You know, I'm not going to write something because it happened to someone else.
Right.
You know, I'm only going to speak the truth as far as I can.
Yeah.
And when that relates to people and people find that, and, you know, you see all these range of emotions come out because of something you wrote. People cry, people laugh, you know, they relate. And it's, you just don't know how powerful it is until you start getting these people that are saying, hey, your music got me through this time, you know, your music got me through this hard time, or, you know, hey, this was the most wonderful time of my life, and I listened to this song and it brings me right back to that great time because that's what I was listening to, celebrating this part of my life.
Yeah.
So I think that just like seeing people's reaction made me so proud of what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it kind of just gave me affirmation where I didn't have that in some areas of my life.
I love that. What's so you brought your guitar with you today.
I did.
Would you be so kind to treat us to a little Nat Frederick
I can do that.
delight?
Thank you, sir. So
What a treat. Anthony, we haven't this is a new experience for us.
Yeah.
This is the first live performance.
First live performance on the shift.
On the shift,
There
brother.
we go. Mr. Nat Frederick.
I'm honored to be here. And, you know, never played in a van this nice. Put it that way.
See, the reason I bought this van is if all else fails, I can move my family and we can live in this thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just an insurance policy.
I'm going to put that up.
Yeah, man. Make yourself at home.
So I've been working on a new project. And we're hoping to get it out for streaming, I would say coming up sometime in the near future. I can't give an exact date on it because we know things just never go according to plan. But I'm going to play you one off of that kind of encompasses West Virginia, myself, and it's for the people that have a like mind.
I love it. All right.
And it's called Mountain Made, so I hope you all enjoy this one. God moves mountains, so I moved up here to be with him. I slipped up a couple times, but who's counting? Yeah, we all been forgiven. And they say youth is a fountain, and I'd wholeheartedly agree with him. 'Cause I smile like I did back when I was a kid every time I go fishing. And it ain't for everyone, but growing up this way, being overworked, underpaid, makes the city life hard to navigate, last place in the rat race. And I could be the first to say, I got it mountain made. If you want to talk about something, I'll be the first one in line just to listen. It's easy to see care and empathy are what the world's missing. Around here we love our neighbors, and we're taught to believe in a savior. A smiling wave brighten the darkest days, and no one ever meets a stranger. And it ain't for everyone, but growing up this way, being overworked, underpaid, makes the city life hard to navigate, last place in the rat race. And I could be the first to say, I got it mountain made. Well, you know who to call when something breaks. Folks around here can fix anything. They're gonna do whatever it takes. They ain't no jack of all trades. They're just mountain made.
I love it, man. Nice. I grew up on that voice, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man. That takes me. Music is such a powerful thing because I immediately, as soon as you started singing, it took me back to multiple times in college when I'd come over to your apartment and you'd play and you'd have some of your buddies over to play. And then, I mean, there was a group of us in high school that did theater, and you introduced me to my love for music back then. So that, like, hearing you sing that immediately took me back to sneaking out of Alice Rose classroom and going to the theater and
Right.
playing and listening to you and Bobby sing. And man, that's awesome.
Powerful thing, man.
Your voice is you have a beautiful voice, and it is a powerful tool, man.
Thanks, Luke.
Dude, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you for having me. Always grateful to see you.
Yeah. I'm so proud of what you've done. It is you're a special person, and you're a great person, and seeing you be able to do something that you love and turn it into a gift that you can give to other people has been really fun to watch. So I filmed the whole thing. My little boy will sit there and watch that. We're flying to Disney next week, and he will probably watch that video like 6 or 7 times. So
Right on.
you saved me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Dude, thank you
Appreciate
for
you,
coming on
brother.
today, brother. I
Yeah.
appreciate you, Nat. All right, dude, that was good.
Thank you,
That
sir.
was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
Perfect.
Worked for me.